Hi, this is Ollie Payne, and what I did for my project was to create an Indeed job feed. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Indeed, but it is a pretty much a job finder. Let's say hypothetically we were interested in C++. We could just say, "Oh wow, there's a job. There's a couple of jobs." So that's basically what Indeed is. So my project was to make something that uses Indeed or uses Indeed's API. That's what I did. If we go to Indeed dot PHP, we'll find this very generic window. I didn't style it up too much. This is just PHP, some HTML. I just wanted to get it working. I'm going to, of course, continue with it in the final, and hopefully some other things as well. But on to the how to. Okay, so as you can tell, let's say job title. Uh, let's do like we did C++. Doesn't really matter. Location. Um, I live in Ohio, so Ohio. I doubt there's too many in Ohio. Of course, I have these options as well. Sort, let's do by date. 25 pages. I can show 25, 5, 15, 10, and 5, but if there's more jobs, the way I set it up is it'll show all the jobs and there'll be a next button that comes up, that pops up down here. Okay. So let's just do, let's do 5 for now. Okay. It scared me there, but as you can see, job, barista, Starbucks. Well, that's not good. I think it double entered. Let's see. Basketball. Submit. Basketball. Ohio. Nurse. N-E-R-S-E. Burst. As you can tell, if there's no results found, there's no results found. I spelled verse though, so. N-U-R-S-E. Okay. And pretty much shows all the nurses in Ohio. I typed in Ohio. That's where I live. Okay. And here's the infamous next button. And it will keep going until there's no longer any jobs. I don't know about this one. We'll go over in the code and I'll take off the errors and we'll be able to tell. I mean, we'll show the debugging and we'll be able to tell. But as you can tell, I can keep going. Has all the information. Of course, thinking in the long run, we can put this into a database or something like that. Who knows what you'd want to do. I can even go back into the date, type in a new search. Let's do, I'm clearly not the best speller. Okay, and as you see, Oregon works. We did day, Nike, that's not bad. Okay, so that works. So let's move on to the code. Okay. So, if we go back to the main page, as you can tell, it's PHP. So we're here. Okay. So I start with a PHP session start. The reason I use session start is because looks like I got a Google message. Oh well. Okay. The reason I use the PHP session start is because I need to save some variables. For the most part, I'm going to be saving post, the job feed, the location, the radius, the job type, the sort, and jobs per page. We all know that. Okay, and session start, I can actually store those variables in an array that allows me really to use the next button to keep the search going. Of course, this is just the let's look at it here. Okay, so this is just the well, we can do it here. This is just the HTML, of course. Title, how to show job feeds from Indeed. That's going to be right up here. Search for a job, job title, keyword. Everything's right there. It's just HTML. Okay. So now moving to the PHP. Of course, this is just for the errors. And now here's where the action starts. So it is set request search. This button is, of course, named search. If you go up here, search. So when I click that, I create a function. Not a function. It just a situation. If that's collect yes on search, what I'm going to do is I have the variable job, location, radius, job type, and sort. All the three options, or all the multiple options. Okay. And amount, what amount goes to is really the jobs per page. Okay. I also create start and total because later on we're going to have to go through a loop, and I just want to keep track of the last job I posted or that's printed out, and the first job that's printed out. So I have an idea of the total. That way, when there's only a couple jobs left, let's say there's only 100 jobs, and you search by 5, 8. Let's say 8. Gonna make it a better example. When you have some remainders and it's not the exact loop, I can just take show those. But moving forward, create an array. What this array does is this array holds all the input that we took in here. Now session hold, what session hold does is this starts the actual session. I had to put session start here because it has to be at the top. Also, the HTML had to be up top because when I do next page, I have everything submitted down here. But of course, you can change that with a little bit of changing later. But that's not the big deal. Okay, so I have a function getJobs. So what getJobs does, it basically holds again. It takes it from the session that was already held. All the variables I need. So the actual job, the location, the job type, the radius. I think this is the. I guess that's sort. Amount is the total amount of jobs, and we don't have that yet, but we're gonna get it. Start's gonna be 0. Total. Well, we have the amount. The amount is how many they wanted. Total. That's what we don't have yet. And finish, we don't have that yet. Okay. Well, we do have finish. I think we do have finish. Yeah, finish equals the amount. The reason finish equals the amount is because what finish is, for example, if you wanted 25 jobs, I go from 1 to 25 as the finish. I don't use it like that, but I got to keep track of the finish just for the total to come into play. Okay, so back to where we are. So the URL. Okay, so I guess taking a step back, when you go to Indeed, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create a publisher account. I've already created a publisher account, as you can see. Pane, my Oregon State account. Let's see if it lets me click it. Let's go to account. No, I guess not. Let's go to API. Okay, so here's pretty much the Indeed Publishers program. For this, basically, you go to, you create an account for Indeed. Here it is. It's necessary, basically, because what Indeed provides is a link very similar to this, okay? For example, for this one, I typed in a search. I didn't put any location. It defaults to Washington. I don't know what that's called. Most of these things default, but when you search, basically you get results, and results has a job per one, per result. It only allows at the maximum 25, but you can basically change everything in this up here. Okay. Now, when you sign on to your account, let's see if it'll let me sign on to my account. I don't know why it wouldn't. That's an issue. Exit out. Indeed.com. Indeed.com. Yeah. Why? I'm going to go to my API. We're going to log in. Okay. You can make things on this where you can get paid, I guess. Who knows? But this is the important page. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So once you create an account, it's going to have you do a couple things. You're going to get this. Okay. Then you got create jobs. This is for other things. All you need is this XML feed. Okay. So this is the important part you needed. You need a publish ID. That's why we went through the whole login, created everything, password. Okay. So what this provides is basically this LinkedIn API where you can do any type of job search. You have V for version. We're going to use the second version right here. Format. I don't think. Well, you can do JSON or XML. I did XML. It was easier for me. You have query, so the job search, location, sort, everything's here. Okay. And here's how it comes out. As you can tell, result. Here's the job. Very similar to this one right here. And if you break it down, let's say you do 25 searches, your results gets shortened. Okay. So once we've done that, we got our URL. Let's see. Went over the XML feed option. There's my account. And of course you could use curl with this. I just used XML. Now, well, we can finally get to the code again. Okay, so URL. I took that address that was given to me right here on the Indeed login page in XML feed. I took this and I put it in here. Okay, and what I did is from all the posts, remember in the post we put them in these various variables. Okay, and then I created an array to hold all of those variables. And then I put that array into my session. So now I'm holding all of that information within session. I'm going to get jobs. When I go and get jobs, everything from that session is actually put in a variable. Now, for example, I have this queue right here, and the API queue by default terms are and to see what is possible. Curious, but it's basically just the job you're looking for. I don't know why they're all complicated. Okay, so you see how I have Q right here, and I have my variable Q or $Q. So therefore, job is going to go in here. I create this URL. Now what I do is I do a simple load file. You can definitely see that if you go to the PHP manual. All it basically does is it takes all the information off of that page. All it basically does is, do you see how this is? And of course when we take it out, all the jobs. So it basically puts all of this information in an object. So I can access, um, once I point to XML, I can also point to query. I didn't put anything in the search, that's why it's empty, but I could point to location and this would come out. I could point to highlights, this would come out. I could point to results and then result, and then I get this job right here, and from here I can type in job city, company, everything like that. So in going back, sorry about that, I was a little lost. Okay, so going back to where we were. Oh yeah, we're doing this. Okay. So you can of course read up the information here, but like I said, basically just put it into an XML object and you can access it. I'll have the links in the code. So now that we've done that, this is just to try things out. I want to make sure it's an object. They have a nice little test if it exists, but I just took query, like I said, and I made it to XML query, which would be XML query. I also took total results XML. I turned it to an int because it comes in as a string, but total results, we go over to total results. You see how 3,000 or 31,271. So I would know that that's the total results of the search. I add that to total results session, so it's in my array as total results. And as you can tell up here, I had a total results, but I left it empty because I didn't know. Okay, now I know the total results. What I'm going to do is I'm going to decide if I want to print this or not. If my total results are 0, like I showed you, no results found. But if it's not, what we're going to do is we're going to say if total results is less than amount. Now amount is the total amount taken in. So or amount is actually the amount that the user requested, because I can only show at maximum 25 per page. So let's say they did 5. Okay, so 5 is greater than. Let's say I get 2 results and 5 is the case. Basically, what I do, amount holds how many loops I'm going to go through, because I have to loop through the amount of jobs right here. So I just minus total results with the actual amount, which is the amount that they asked it to be put in. Total results is total results returned. I minus the 2, and I hold it in amount. Okay, and I hold it in amount so I know how many jobs are going to be on the next page. So now I go to print jobs XML. Notice I passed XML to print jobs. That's because I have also a next page that I have to use an XML object too, and I figured might as well make it print jobs. So this variable right here is just created to hold a dynamically created HTML that I'm going to do. This is just an error check. We're going to go over that. It just dumps the session and shows you all the variables I have. And this, of course, sets up some more variables to be used as amount and finish. And remember, amount is the request of search per page that the user requested, and finish is the end pointer, how many total jobs I've displayed. Okay, so we're going to go through the loop here, and I made amount because that's the amount that the user requested to see on a page. We take the job title, and as you can see, XML, remember XML has been created to an object right here. So for example, on this one, if we would have done job title XML, this is XML, so XML results 0, or for this first loop 0 job title. So we know we're here at response. Okay, so we're going to go results, result. Now it's going to say X, but we're in the for loop, so we're going to go 0. So we know we're in this case of results. Just remember, all these are results right here. So we're in this case of results, and we're going to take the job title, and job title is here, companies here, cities here, state, country, formatted location, source, date, snippets, even like a little description about the open job, the URL, so you can link. And Indeed allows you to make a couple bucks if you post their links. People link through your link. And of course, latitude, longitude. You do some graph or some maps things if you'd like. Job key. There's a couple other APIs to use, and you can search through different things. Expired to see if the job is still viable. Basically, other information. You can look it up. Okay. So I hold all that information, and what I do is I create this HTML. Right. You can create anything. You could link it. You could do. You could do it. You could do pretty much anything. You're just writing it into the HTML that you want it to display. So I just display jobs, company, location, source, date, description, and of course updated time. Now, what I do after the loop, I want to set the end of the loop to start of the next loop. That's kind of complicated, but basically I went through, let's say hypothetically, I went through 25 jobs, okay? So up here, 0 amounts 25, so I go to the next position. So I want to start on job 25 and work my way from job 25 to 50 on the next round I go. So what I have here is I have start loop is now going to be at 50 because that's the next job that's going to be up. Okay, and I'm going to say hold my finish loop, which is 50, and it's going to be now equal to my session amount, which is the amount the user requested. In this situation, I'm at 25, so 75. So now finish is 75, and start loop is 25 because I need to get the next 25 jobs. Okay, so now echo HTML. So this basically took all of the jobs, let's say 25, so 1 or 0, 1, 2, all the jobs are in this HTML. I print this out. Search. I print this out. All that stuff right there is copied. Or here is copied. And then for each job it just prints it out in space. Okay, and like I said, that just explains the loop, why each statement is taken out. Here's the results section, so I just wanted to print that just to do it. Now, of course, here's I echo my HTML, like I said. And now, what I want to do here is I basically want to create my next button, okay? So if my start loop, like I said up here, which is going to be, of course, at this point 25 for the example, is less than my total results. I don't have my total results. I'll show you later how to get it. All you'd have to do is dump vars right here, which will show it, or you could just print it out or echo it out somewhere. Okay, but if I have 25 of these, and let's say 1,000 total results, I'm able to create a next button. Okay, so if you scroll down here, after I list 25 jobs, I can hit next, and what would you know? 25 more jobs come up. Okay, and this lasts for every place. I can do 20. Got my 20 jobs. And next. So next is always going to show up. It doesn't show up in some situations. I'd have to get them out with very few results. But let's say there's only 3 results, only 3 would show up, or only the next 3 would show up, and then no next sign would be created. Okay, so now here we go. If request next, so I dynamically created next, and now let's say this page loads. Okay, they did the job search. Now if they hit next, what happens is basically, remember how I was holding that session? I had the job, the location, the type, the radius, the sort, the amount, the start loop, and the total results. I even have I have a lot of things in the session, but those are the only things I wanted to make variables. Okay, so I took them out through the variables. I took the same exact URL that we used the first time up here. Just kind of redundant, but hey, I just wanted to get done. So I took it again, and of course you can see I added the same variables. And the most important part on this is for start loop. Okay, so I know that I'm going to start on start. And remember when we changed start to 25? So now I'm going to, it's still going to loop 0 to 25 because that's how it goes, but it's going to request the 25th job. So to look at it in a different way, in here, you see how limit is 26, start, let's say start 34. I started at the 35th job, and I'm going to end at the 59th, because it only shows 25 at maximum. I thought it would show more, but they probably don't want you to do too much damage in the workforce environment for free. But if we move down, I create that again, and then I print it, and then of course that's why the next button works. It shows more jobs. And these are all open jobs on the search day area source. Okay, now what happens down here is basically if the start and the amount, okay, so the place where we're at plus the amount, which is the amount that they wanted to show on the page, that many jobs, is less than the total we have, we're just going to, of course, print it. If not, we're going to determine how much the loop is and print job, because if we have 25 and we think we're going to print 25 but there's only 3 jobs, you get a lot of errors because you're accessing, I guess, an object a place in the object that doesn't exist, which makes sense. But that's pretty much the end of the code. Here's what I have. We can turn on some errors, and you can see or get an idea of how it really looks, which will help you if you decide to use it. Someone said we were going to use these other people's, the most important ones to turn on, I would say, is just a dump, because it shows you everything that's in the session. Go hit the next button, dump. Okay. Now let's run that. So we got a new, it's not really new, but you can see some more of the action. Probably shouldn't have done that, but okay. So let's say Java, and I want to work in Texas. Okay, and I want to show 25 pages. So, of course, the search button was hit. Let's scroll up here. Remember how we have the set search. Search button was hit. How many jobs that I want to show? You display to show this many jobs. 25. 25. Finish got equal to amount. Up here, and this goes right here, finish to amount. Now, within the bar, so this is the session that we created up here, and I pushed everything into this session when I push the array in session. So we know we have job, name, location, status, full-time, radius, didn't put in anything. Now here's where this is kind of important. So if I hit next, let's look at it first. So you see how total results, that's a lot of results. Finish loop is 25, start loop is 0. Now let's do next. Okay, so finish loop is 50, start loop is 25, total results is 3,000. So if we keep hitting next, so we'll keep getting new jobs. Start loop 50, 75, total results. So a lot of jobs in Texas. So that's pretty much how it works. Of course, like I said, that shows everything. We went over all the code, so that's pretty much it. I'll post some links on this web page, also my code, and I hope you enjoyed.